It's difficult to come across a great film trilogy nowadays, especially one that ends on such a high note that it retroactively makes the journey you made at the very start all the more satisfying. The ones that immediately come to mind are Toy Story, Lord of the Rings, and of course, Star Wars. And that brings us to War for the Planet of the Apes, the third installment in this newly revised series that no one really expected to be anything worthwhile, let alone touted as one of the best sci-fi trilogies to come along in recent memory. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's look at the story. The struggle between man and intelligent primate continues as Caesar, reprised once again by master motion capture performer Andy Serkis, tries to maintain peace among his ape community, especially after the revolt that occurred in the previous film, which resulted in a few members to turn coat with a large group of human soldiers who are more determined than ever to wipe out Caesar and his tribe for good. Tragedy eventually strikes that propels Caesar to go on a quest for revenge against the man leading the military, referred to only as the Colonel, played here by Woody Harrelson. Along the way, Caesar and his trusted allies encounter a slew of fresh faces, including a former zoo chimp with a tragic past named Bad Ape, played by Steve Zahn, and an orphan girl with a mysterious loss of speech named Nova, played by newcomer Amaya Miller. So now that I spent more than enough time to digest the latest entry, I am more than happy to call this not only one of my favorite movies this summer, but one I could easily see as a legit frontrunner for next year's Best Picture Oscar. Aside from Dunkirk, of course. Returning in the directing seat is Matt Reeves, who once again pushes the limit for what you could do in a tentpole summer blockbuster. From the way he stages his massive action sequences, to how he dedicates most of the visual effects budget on quieter, character-driven moments, you can't help but wonder if the folks over at Disney are kicking themselves for not hiring this guy to close out the new Star Wars trilogy. Ah well, at least we'll know who to personally thank for course-correcting the DCEU's version of Batman. Fingers crossed. As for the aforementioned visuals, damn. They more than outdone themselves here with the motion capture technology. The wide variety of emotions they were able to replicate from these actors' performances through these apes was absolutely mind-blowing. Andy Serkis continues to give an award-worthy performance as Caesar that sadly won't go recognized by the Academy, but I also want to send praise towards the other performer who'd been on board since Rise, Karen Knovel, who plays Caesar's most trustworthy companion, Maurice. Again, it's in these quiet, intimate moments where the film shines brightest, and her scenes in particular, communicating and sharing a bond with the little mute girl, were the film's biggest highlights. As far as the new cast members are concerned, Woody Harrelson did an excellent job playing the Colonel Kurtz-inspired antagonist without coming across as a one-note character, and Steve Zahn provided just enough needed levity for this overall grim narrative that thankfully never leaned toward Jar Jar territory. Honestly, I couldn't think of any drawbacks I had with the film, aside from maybe the weird way these movies were titled. I just love the fact that the filmmakers decided to go all out and make it as dark and brutal as it is, practically making the Schindler's List of intelligent ape movies, and they did it all for the benefit of concluding the story as opposed to just making another lousy cash grab. And while it does offer up a few breadcrumbs here and there that could potentially keep this series going for a good short while, it will definitely be a hard act to follow. But whatever they decide to do, War for the Planet of the Apes is without question one of the most immensely satisfying trilogy cappers I've seen in a long time, as well as one of the year's best. And for that, it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. And that concludes our show. Feel free to like, share, subscribe, or leave a friendly comment down below and tell us what you thought about War for the Planet of the Apes. And as always, I'm the host, and I will see you next time on another Midnight Movie Madness.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas.